How you doing? This is George Senda, the guy from Pittsburgh, and this is Donald Trump talk. And, I'm amused to see the New York Times first talk about how Donald Trump has trouble with women. An ex-girlfriend said he was a perfect gentleman when he offered her just a swimsuit to wear because she showed up and didn't have any. And the New York Times spun the interview with her to be totally negative. And then they talk about how Donald Trump will have problems if he attacks Hillary for being a woman. Well, you don't have to attack Hillary for being a woman. All you have to do is attack her on her record. She did nothing as a U.S. Senator. She helped get 4 Americans killed in Benghazi by her inaction and her activities to overthrow the head of the Libyan government, Muammar Gaddafi, and have him killed. And Barack Obama failed to send aircraft and our special forces into Libya to help save these brave Americans who died at the hands of terrorists, not because of a video, because they were terrorist insurgents who attacked one of our diplomatic centers. And then you have Hillary Clinton's history. She took so many thousands of dollars and parlayed into hundreds of thousands of dollars with cattle futures. She gets paid for speeches she gives to Goldman Sachs where nobody knows what the hell she's saying. But she got $625,000 a speech. Her daughter gets a cushy job at NBC as an intern, gets paid, I don't remember what it was, $650,000 for 1 year of doing absolutely nothing. Never worked on a story, never reported the story. Bill Clinton flies around with convicted pedophiles, seduced an intern, Monica Lewinsky, and had sex under his desk while on the phone to a U.S. Senator. And he allegedly raped a woman. And Hillary Clinton went after every woman who said, I had sex with Bill Clinton, he harassed me, he seduced me, besmirched their reputation. That was her war on women, not a Republican war on women. And then the New York Times is engaging wishful thinking. Now, they have a story here. The electoral map looks challenging for Trump. And I know you can't see it because of the glare. But they go here, if today's general election polling holds true, Hillary Clinton will easily defeat Donald Trump. The problem with this, they're basing this, it says maps are based on current election polling, general election polling, and 2012 general election results. There's one big problem with this, folks. Barack Obama ain't running. They don't think about that, and they say your current national and battleground state polls, nowhere in the article they say what polls, who put them out, so you can look at them, because they won't let you see that information. You got to search for this yourself, and I haven't had a chance to yet. But they have Mr. Trump trailing Mrs. Clinton by 10 percentage points should they face off in the general election. Well, you know what? Trump is disliked by people, but Hillary Clinton is disliked by people. You're going to get a lot of people voting for Trump who can't stand Hillary Clinton. They're saying Miss Clinton, if these numbers would hold, would take all the states that Obama won in 2012 as well as in North Carolina. Well, Trump won handily in North Carolina, didn't he? The Republican primary, putting her far over the 270 electoral votes to win. Mrs. Clinton fares worse than Obama. Only in New York, a state that she would win easily according to current polling. Well, I don't think so. And then they have maps showing how Trump could improve in his polling margin by 5% in each state, and he could win by 10%. But again, this is wishful thinking. Now, Jimmy Carter was ahead of Ronald Reagan in 1980. He went on to lose by 10 points. So we've seen how polls don't mean anything when it comes to how people vote, and people lie to exit pollers. I've been exit polled. I told the truth. I voted for so-and-so. And I've already turned my ballot in for the primary, and I voted for Donald Trump. And so, and I saw the first mailer that came to me for the Republicans for tax, sensible taxation or something. I forgot to bring it. And it's the first mailer I saw that said, vote for Donald Trump for president. So, and that's a Republican group, taxpayer group. They want Donald Trump. So, I think the New York Times is wrong. I think people are going to decide who do they want in the White House for 4 years and then presumably 8 years, because generally the president gets reelected. We've seen people not get reelected, like George Herbert Walker Bush and others. But the first term is what is the key. If you do well in your first term, you get reelected. Now, Hillary made fun of Trump. Imagine me on a debate stage with Trump, and you ask Trump, what's he going to do to create jobs? And he goes, I'm going to create great jobs, and I'm going to do great, and all this stuff. And he's not specific. Well, you know what? What jobs has Hillary Clinton created? Nothing. Zilch. Oh, she's had her chief of staff saying she's presidential, or former chief of staff. And I'm sure she gave jobs to people when she was a senator. And she gave jobs to people when she was Secretary of State. And, of course, she had staffers working for her as the First Lady when she was the First Lady. But other than government jobs, Hillary Clinton hasn't contributed squat, unless she's got maids, butlers, and chauffeurs. I'm sure she does, because she wouldn't ride the public transportation or walk. I'm sure she has her own limo and gets driven around. I doubt if she drives her own car, for that matter. So, that's the story there. Hillary Clinton hasn't created one private sector job except to take care of one person. And it's always one person with Hillary Clinton. She's created jobs to take care of Hillary Clinton. Trump has created thousands of jobs with his hotels, office buildings, casinos. And don't give me any crap about how his casinos went bankrupt. That was a corporate bankruptcy. It wasn't personal. And Trump will continue to create jobs because he knows how to employ people. He employs Mexicans. He employs blacks. He employs women. He employs Latinos. And I don't know, and I'm sure he employs gays. And I don't know if he employs any lesbians or transsexuals, but I'm sure there's some in there too. And he's employed a lot of people from being on 5 or how many years it was on The Apprentice. And I'm sure Trump will come in. Let's see what we can do to create jobs. The same Ronald Reagan said the first thing, let's see what we can do to get rid of this inflation. That's the first thing Ronald Reagan did when he came in the office, and our inflation rate went down big time. And I think Trump will do the same thing. I want to create jobs. I want to stimulate the economy. I want to make sure that we have a GDP that's 4% instead of 0, which is what we've had recently. The growth is terrible. Now, retail sales are being spurred by online sales, but you see Walmart closing stores. Target has their problems because they're being protested at because Target doesn't want transgender bathrooms, and neither do I. If transsexuals want to go in the bathroom, well, I hate to tell them this, they're not women. Not unless they've had the operation, and then they're still not women. They're still men. They're biologically males. So, there are separate private bathrooms in Target, one-person bathrooms. They can go in there. Those are unisexual. They're for men, women, and handicapped people. I've used them. So go in there. But you don't want, if you don't want a transsexual to go in the men's room, the women's room, that should be your right as a shopper. And I think it's wrong to attack Target, and it's wrong for the Obama administration to tell schools that they now have to let transsexuals use the bathrooms And I guess next we'll have transsexuals go in the women's locker room to take showers. That'll be next. You open the door, it's like the camel's nose. And it always smells of the Obama administration because he's obsessed with doing stuff the rest of the country that isn't on the left or the right coast wants. Because he's clueless. And he talked about being ignorant in the college commencement speech. Well, this guy is ignorant. Obama's ignorant because he thinks his view of the world is the rest of the country, and it isn't. Now, he got voted in, but he didn't get voted in by 48% of the people, and a substantial amount of people didn't vote for him at all. Because they didn't vote. They were fed up. Just like the people are fed up now. So, in 2016, in November, we'll decide who's going to become the next president. And if it's not Hillary Clinton, the left is going to have a fit. But it's not Barack Obama running this time. And a lot of Democrats are now distancing themselves from Barack Obama's record and his so-called legacy. A legacy of failure, a legacy of ineptitude, and a legacy of violating the Constitution at every turn. And a legacy of trying to substantially, quote-unquote, transform America. When we don't need no transformation. Now, there are things wrong with this country. You want to change those, and we need to change those. But you don't dictate policy on behavior. You don't dictate policy on political correctness. And that's what Obama's obsessed about. All right. This is the guy from Pittsburgh. Have a great day, and I will catch you next time. Bye-bye.